Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Words I Choose to Live By. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by our co-host, Dr. Velma Bagby and Tina Siemens. Melissa Banks is out today. I want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and then we're going to welcome in our friends joining us on Instagram, and we're going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live for today's message. If you guys have not followed us already, we do encourage you guys to do that so you can stay connected with all of our programming individually as well as a group. And we welcome those tuning in on Amazon Live now for Word That Choose Lit By. It's week number 14 from my book. I'm the
Yeah,
same name. I'm going to highlight for you guys on the Amazon side, joined by Dr. Velma and Tina today for today's show. How the two of you doing?
we're good.
Doing great.
Good. Glad to be able to hear it. Well, before we get into our message for today, I do want to ask you all for our live audience joining us on Amazon. Of course, we're wrapping up the month of March. For those listening to us on the radio at Max WYAD 94.1 FM, WYADonline.com, we're beginning the month of April. But Tina, what has it been like for you to reflect on the month of March and also this first quarter of 2025?
It's been a busy quarter, but absolutely so many things are happening and beautiful growth is happening. So much to reflect on and using it as a springboard, not only into spring, but also into the rest of the year.
Love that. Love that. Dr. Vanma, what about for yourself? What has it been like for you to reflect on the month of March and the first quarter of 2025?
When you mentioned March, I was thinking, was it an entire month already? That's how quickly it's gone by. It's
Right.
been busy for me, but exciting, and I'm excited to be able to accomplish what I was able to accomplish during the month. So it's been a great month.
Yeah, and I hope it has been for our audience as well.
Hmm.
Make sure you guys let us know in the comment section what your month and quarter has been like. And I totally agree with Dr. Velma. It definitely has gone by fast. So let's
Yes.
get into today's message today. Again, it's week number 14 from my book, Word That Choose to Live By. Make your decisions, then walk in them. It's an appropriate thing to think about as we're wrapping up the month and beginning another. Your worst enemy is not lurking around the corner. It's looking at you in the mirror. Decide for yourself that you are going to stop holding yourself back and watch how much your life changes. Stop doubting and continue believing, and there's nothing that you can't do. If this message is from me, now you guys may get something out of it, but I have said to people all the time, I have always been my own worst enemy. I've always been my biggest critic. It never really has bothered me what people have said that I couldn't do or where I couldn't go. I was the one telling myself that the most.
Yeah.
So I when I wrote this message, it really was a reminder for myself to remember one, that I was born with a purpose, that God created me to do something. It was up to me though to realize to do it. And I compare myself a lot to Moses in that, Moses was given an assignment. He's like, oh, I can't do that. I don't talk very well. And as someone who grew up with a stutter, that was a thing I never thought I would be good at speaking. But we see though that we're still able to be used regardless of what we
Yeah.
tell ourselves. So for me,
Yep.
it's a great reminder for me to stop making excuses and
Mhm.
just get to the work. And I think that's the big thing for us. So Tina, I want to ask you, you're kicking us off with this one. What has it been
Well,
like
I
to make the decision and then to walk in it?
well, I was reminded of the verse in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." So
Right.
these great works, these tools we are equipped with, we were born with whatever our purpose in life was that would be unfolding. So God equipped us beforehand, and all we need to do now is walk in that. And I always talk about how I dreamt of having a museum and worked and thought and prayed for about 20 years until one day I was just like giving Pacific in my prayer. If 2023 is the year that the dream can come true, then let me find the building. While I was praying, the building came to mind. It was already there. I had just not seen it until that moment. It was prepared beforehand. Now it was up to me to walk into that dream. So when I got that revelation in my prayer, I was like, okay, 2023 is going to be the year that I'll make that dream come true. And it's We're going to celebrate our second anniversary come June. So it
Yay.
is using what you already have. It may not be perfect. It may not be what your end result or your end thought is, dream is, but start with what you've got. And that's been beautiful in my life to be able to just start with what I had and build on it, because you don't have to have the perfect full-blown museum like the drawings that I made, the land, the 20 acres that I was hoping for. No, it can all start with what you've got, and then you can build on it. So I've enjoyed myself, releasing myself to really being able to walk in that pathway. And it's been an amazing journey.
Such a great thing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tina. As you guys are noticing on the Amazon side, as our co-hosts are talking, we're highlighting one of their latest books. There you see it. We were highlighting Post Oak by Tina Siemens. We're now about to move over to the 30-Day Wild Journal there for Dr. Velma Bagby. And Dr. Velma, I want to ask you the same question. What has it been like for you to make the decision and then to walk in that decision and your purpose?
First of
Hey,
all, let
Mom.
me say good morning, Miss Zaddy. It's good to see you.
Oh,
Yeah.
To make the decision, it was very similar to what you shared about your testimony. I did not make the decision. It wasn't not my goal to do what I'm doing now. I set out to retire. I did all of this as a deputy administrator. I wrote, designed programs, developed future leaders, all of that. And I thought I was going to put it in a box and shove it away with the words retired on it. I wasn't going to do that anymore. But God told me no. Why? He prepared me the entire time because I was a very shy girl growing up. To rise to the position that I was in took time, but God sent people along my path to help me to bring out what was He had already loaded in me, like Tina said, already downloaded. And when she said that, it reminded me of Romans 8:29, whom He did foreknow, He also predestinated. Who He knew beforehand, before we were formed, before we were born in our mother's, before we were born, he also had a plan. Predestinated means he had a plan. It was already downloaded in us. It was up to us to discover what that thing was. And I did not discover it until after I retired. All my years and experience, God was preparing me for what he had for me to do now. I was a trainer. I developed classes. He was preparing me for what I was to do now. I was helping job seekers discover what was the best path for them. So I was coaching the entire time. And so what God did was took what he used to prepare me in the work world so that I can now use it in terms of dating with with 50 years of marriage, in terms of dating, how to discover your mate, and other aspects of discovering your worth. So I didn't just walk into it, Cyrus. Some of us have to discover that at some point, and God helped me to discover it, along with
Yes.
all the people He sent across my path.
Such a great thing and such a great reminder for all of us, I think, too, for our audience out there. And let us know in the comment section, what have you had to make the decision to do? Because again, that is one of the big things. But I mentioned in this message, Dr. Vam, I'm going to go back to you.
Hmm.
The message says this: decide for yourself that you are going to stop holding yourself back and
Hmm.
watch how much your life changes. I can speak from experience
Hmm.
that a lot of times I've talked about this, is that sometimes I let fear get in my, even today, I'll let fear get in my way, and I'll say, you know what? I think I'll just slow this down a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm not ready for the next level, or maybe I'm not ready for this next big thing. But then I realize, okay, I'm only, as I said to one of my friends, you're only, you know, slowing down the inevitable. And so the important thing is really just to move forward. What has
Hmm.
that been like for you, Dr. Velma, to take the fingers off of other people and to think about the role that you're playing in holding yourself back?
It's me all the time. Anytime I hit a stop sign, it wasn't because somebody else put the stop sign out. It was me. I
Mhm.
also have to consider the opposite. I remember one day God showing me a vision of a hamster in a wheel. He was reminding me I can't be that either. Just
Mhm.
spinning around and not really being productive. You're just doing stuff. So it's
Right.
important to slow it down too, to be strategic in terms of what you feel that God is directing you to do. And that's why my go-to scripture is Proverbs 3 and 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, which means to invite him in. So in every aspect, after my one-on-one meetings with my publicist, I said, okay, God, this is what Cyrus said. Now, what do you say? Because I know you sent him to help me. And I know he gives me wisdom based on what you tell him, but show me what I am to do. And
Mhm.
sure enough, God would affirm and confirm the things that you have suggested.
Mhm.
Tina, you know that he's back there with the finger.
Yes.
He's not suggesting you. I said, God, what should I do? And so having that, I pay attention to what I'm instructed to do. I pay attention to the people who cross my path because sometimes in those experiences, God is telling you what you need to do. So
Mhm.
I get out of my way when I find myself. Because in the beginning of this journey, I'm going, God, how am I going to write a book about dating and relationship and it's cluttered with over 50,000 books? What my one book, what can my one book do? And it wasn't about what the other people did.
Mm.
Those weren't those did not represent my voice. And so
Right.
it was important for us to know that it's your voice and there's an audience waiting to hear what you have to say. And that's what I had to remind myself. And that's a constant reminder for me because every now and then I want to retreat. This feels relaxing. I don't have to do anything today. Oh, I don't need to write today. No, we still have to be strategic every day.
Such a great thing, such a great reminder, and thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Velma. Because again, Tina, as we both know, and you and I have had these conversations, a lot of times we are that one. We're the one that
Mhm.
that thinks what we can't do instead of what we can. But how does it help you, Tina, to recognize that a lot of times it is you that's in your own way?
Hmm.
Dr. Belmo was speaking. I was thinking of a person that looks very busy, but we can be moving boxes from one side of the room to the other all day long and not get anything accomplished by the end of the day. So
Mm.
being purposeful in what I choose to do every day is how I am going to move forward in my purpose. And I know I've been able to experience that this year so personally, in my area of just being able to say, this is my purpose, and
Yeah.
I am going to walk in that purpose on purpose.
Mhm.
Because so often we think, oh, I'm very busy. Yes, we all are. Our world is like that hamster wheel that Dr. Belmo was talking about. And then we have to stop and reassess, what is my purpose? What am I trying to fulfill? What is the goal that I want to reach by the end of the quarter or by the end of the month or
Right.
year? And so, with reevaluating, stopping long enough to just think, okay, am I truly doing what my purpose has called me to do? And if not, then get off of that main highway, exit off, reassess, refuel, and then get back on the main highway, because that is where you are going to be able to give the ride that you were meant to do in this life. And I am often the biggest stumbling block in my own pathway, because I can either talk myself in or out quite
Yeah.
easily. And so
Right.
for me to always keep my purpose in my on the front view, that is when I will be able to make choices that will guide me toward the goal that and the download that God has for my life.
Yeah, such a great point. Thank you for that. So, Dr. Velma, what would you say to our audience then about the importance of getting out of their own way?
Know that you have an assignment, just as Tina and I said, and Cyrus said this entire at the beginning of this conversation. You have purpose. God had a plan for your life. It's already downloaded in you. You've been thinking about it, but you've just been shoving it aside. And now it's just time for you to really think about what this will mean. And believe me, knowing that I was going to transition from writing for the corporate world and taking the time to discover, okay, what is my voice? What does my voice sound like? How do I put this into a story or writing or print? You have to discover that. So I did what most people will do. You could take the YouTube. I heard YouTube University recently, a guest called a YouTube University. You can get, like I did, all the how-to books. But whatever it is, don't fear, but do your research. Find out what it is that you've been assigned to do and really understand it as much as you can. And then pray about what strategic plan God has for you, one step at a time. But you have to understand what it is you're about to do. And that's what I had to do. I had to embrace the information so it would guide me in my journey. And so make sure you do that as well.
Love that. Love that. A really good message. Great reminders. We are wrapping up the month of March, going into the month of April, reminding ourselves to get out of our own way. And I want to add, be honest with the person in the mirror, because that's the person that we have to live with, and say we can't blame other people for what we know we're not doing
Right.
when it comes to our
Mhm.
own goals, dreams, and purpose. So
Right.
thank you too so much for that. Really appreciate it. Tina, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, I would just encourage you. Today is the day that you can, if you haven't found your purpose until today, take a moment and really ask maybe a couple of close friends what they see in you. But I'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch with me on social media platforms as Tina Siemens, or email me at seminalthebook.com.
Love that. Thank you so much for that. Tina, Dr. Velma, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Thank you for so much for this opportunity, Cyrus. I love the discussion, and boy, do I always learn from Tina as well. All my co-hosts are phenomenal. You can reach me by connecting on my website, drvelmabagby.com. I'm on all the social media platforms. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube as well. You'll get if you sign up for notifications, you'll get notifications for some of my upcoming podcasts as well.
Love that. Thank you too so much. It's been another great quarter. And I want to say to our audience that we are actually going to be wrapping up our season during the month of April. So
Yee.
my co-hosts get a break from me for a while. It's been great having them with us. So we're on countdown mode now as we are getting ready to wrap up this season at the end of April. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Want to encourage you guys on the Amazon side, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. We have brand new programming starting here on Amazon next week. My new weekly show, The Art Spot, debuts next Monday. So next Monday, April the 7th, you can be able to catch it right here on Amazon at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time. That made me doing live art projects every Monday right here on Amazon. So make sure you guys check that out. But also, of course, make sure you guys are staying tuned to Word That You Live By. Also at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. That's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as well. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.